We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Charles Robert Bone and Brenda Wynn are with us this morning. They're both with Transit for Nashville. They're here talking in favor of the mayor's $1 billion transit plan to improve traffic situation here in the metro area. We are going to have opposition on in their own entire hour show in about a week. We wanted to give each of them that opportunity. We're streaming live on Facebook at newschannel5.com, and you see the number there on the screen, 737-7587 if you want to jump in. Let's go to some more calls. We're going to Buzz. Buzz, good morning.
Hey, good morning to y'all.
Hi, Buzz.
Good morning.
I'm concerned about the fact that we are overbuilding Nashville to the point that we create these problems, and then on top of that, it doesn't even involve the people that drive around during the day from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock that we have this traffic problem. The traffic problem is mainly created by the rush to get downtown or in town to go to work in the morning and get out of town in the afternoon, and people take their incomes home with them and spend their money in their own individual counties, and Metro does not collect as much taxes. On top of that, being on a fixed income and also living in a neighborhood where I can get to where I have to go without having to encumber public traffic, I'm expected to pay more for it than you would have to, Nick, as far as coming in from wherever you live, or other people like yourself. So my question is, how can you structure the tax part of this to where it's more fair to everyone else that's concerned?
Fair question. I mean, I think we all can share Buzz's frustrations with traffic and congestion, but I think the funding sources that they have devised to pay for this, again, the major piece of this is an increase in the sales tax, which is apportioned across not just Nashville, but across the region and those visiting Nashville, and also an increase on the hotel motel tax, which visitors to the city are paying for. So it's pretty much as close to a user fee as we can get within the tools that the legislature has given us.
Okay, all right, makes sense. And can you address, how would I pay or help? Obviously, I'm going to have to pay the fees once this opens to travel and use the transit system when it starts. But I'm coming from Wilson County. He's an individual. He's rare. Now, I know that Buzz is not selfish. Okay, just because he doesn't need it, he doesn't want to deny everyone else decent transportation in the city. Okay, he's fine. He's one of the rare that can walk around and get where he wants to go. But I mean, how could you say, well, Nick, you're going to be paying your fair share too? Even though I would argue that the people that live in Davidson County stand to benefit the most from this. You're not going to get taxpayer dollars from all these outer counties for this. Right. So how would you say that I could benefit, or how I could assist?
Well, we would hope that once Nashville has approved its plan, and then the outer counties begin to work on theirs, that there's a way that you can contribute that
the connections.
That's right.
Yeah, and that'll be in my tax base in Wilson County, should they address it and say, look, we can hook up our own here to where Nashville's going to end theirs and expand, and which, by the way, I'll be fine with. I'll be fine with. Let's see what we've got here. Josh goes, he thinks, the big issue here is roadway infrastructure, all the bottlenecks causing traffic jams, 100 people a day locating to Nashville. I mean, that is part of the problem for sure. But the solution, I guess you would say, is not, building wider roads, because we don't have that much space anyway, or is it? Is that a fair solution?
I just don't believe that we're going to be able to build our way out of this. When you look at some of our interstate systems and the lanes, I mean, six lanes, well, 12 lanes now, because if you're looking 6 where I'm coming north and south, I just don't know how much further out we can go. And I will say that I have lived through road construction on 65 since 1989.
It's like perpetual.
And it is. It's perpetual. Every other year or so, we're at it again. Right. And I have in all those years figured out probably 5 different ways to come into downtown. But one of them means heading towards Sumner County and then rimming Davidson County and coming back in.
Backtracking.
On Brickchurch Pike.
So
Yeah.
We're not going to pave our way out of this. Yeah. There's not going to be an app that's going to cure this, right? I mean, this is going to require a significant infrastructure improvement.
Investment.
That's just the only way out of it, I guess. That's what the mayor's saying.
And to get ahead of it.
Yeah, and when we look at other places, again, I don't know whether I've said this or not yet, but places that we have always said we don't want to be like.
Right.
The way that place, whose name I won't call right now, but that place has been able to work its way out of it by implementing a mass transit system, and it took them a while to get it done. But when you look at the pavement and the concrete in that city, I mean, I'm just not sure that we have the capacity or the wherewithal to do that. What we can do is what's before us now. And that this plan, that's not just the mayor's plan. This is a plan that 118 community groups worked to craft and design. This plan started back in 2015, 2016 with the In Motion plan, with citizens weighing in on what they wanted our transit plan to be. Now, again, it's this mayor's big, bold plan, but a lot of us have had the opportunity to weigh in on it. 30,000 people have signed the referendum. So there is a group of people in the city who understand that in order for us to move forward and continue to be the great city we all know Nashville is and wants to continue to be, is to face the issues with respect to what we're going to do about transit.
Yeah. Beth writes, on Facebook here, yes, traffic's horrendous. Our city is falling behind. And I guess that begs the question, if you agree with her, if we stay status quo and do nothing.
The cost is just...
Well, not just the cost, nothing. Because I'm saying, if you say do nothing now, and you may say, well, it's going to be more expensive later, well, who's to say that 5 years from now, the same people that are objecting to this are still going to object to it?
Absolutely.
If you just go that way. So I'm not asking for... How bad a scenario do you envision 10 years from now if absolutely nothing is done?
I've watched traffic back up on 65 South or over the Silliman Evans Bridge. I work in the downtown area, and so periodically I have meetings out in the Goodlettsville area at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've watched traffic back up on the interstate at 1:30, 2 o'clock.
Oh, no.
And the thing is, it's earlier and earlier. I've left home at 6 o'clock in the morning and sat in traffic. And I think, if I leave home at 6 o'clock, I shouldn't have to sit in traffic, but I do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, most of us would agree that the traffic has gotten much worse over the last 6 or 7 years. During that time period, we've only added 100,000 cars to the region. Over the next 20 years, it's estimated we're going to add another 1 million. Yeah. So just think about how
you're
worse
going to drive home in an RV and just sleep in the car on the way there. By the time you get home, you'll be turning around and coming back to work. That's how it's going to work out.
And it's not just Nashville.
It's not.
Right? I mean, Nashville is benefiting from its location, from having 3 interstates that go through it. But people all over the country are moving to big urban areas and trying to move closer and closer to the cities. Nashville is not unique in having to address this, but what it is unique is we've done nothing over the last 50 years to put us in a position to prepare for this. And so now is the time if we're ever going to do it.
All right, let's go next to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hey, three things real quick, and let me speak for just give me a minute and a half. First of all, the guy said that was made to know those experiencing poverty. Come on, man, just say 4 people. The 4 people are not going to be insulted. Next thing, mass transit. I've been doing some research, and it seems that mass transit, ironically, attracts crime. They build them along areas that are kind of rough to go into cities, and then she said people of advantage are going to get free fares. And there's been studies in San Francisco and Chicago that these people have come into the inner part of the city, not only robbed in the city downtown, but robbed people up the way down in the mass transit that these people provided for them. $5 a month, that doesn't add up, the math. And then lastly, I'd like to say both of your guests seem very intelligent, but I don't know, man. And plus the problem with the mayor, I don't know, Nick, you know me, I'm a smart guy. I don't think this is going to flush. My prediction, I don't think it's going to pass. But you know what? My final thing is I'm a Sierra Club member. How is this going to affect the raccoon, and Nick's favorite, the spotted owl.
The spotted owl from Oregon. You know, environmentally, I would imagine any form of mass transit's an improvement on what we have, right?
It is, because it reduces the pollution in the air. I mean, if you reduce the number of cars coming in, you reduce the pollution.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That, to me, he brings up, and I don't know how he feels. That's a clear-cut benefit of any mass transit plan anywhere on the planet. It's a green plan.
And of the 118 community groups that support this and have been at the table for the last year working on this, environmental interests are represented there, and they're represented there not only because they want more transit option for their members, but also they see the environmental benefits to what this would do.
Okay, and there's some other things he touched on. We have some other calls. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get to more of your calls if you'd like to join in, and more comments coming in on Facebook. Just your thoughts. Again, these are proponents of the mass transit plan. We will have opponents coming on for an hour of their own as well in the next week or so. We'll take a break and continue our conversation here on the Plus and on Facebook at newschannel5.com after this.